Hello and welcome. Today we're going to repair a wooden floor base on a La-Z-Boy rocker recliner. Now what happens with wooden floor bases on these chairs, and it doesn't have to be a La-Z-Boy, it can be any brand really, over time the joints will eventually start to loosen up. And when they do, what often happens, these side rails will begin to lean over, and that causes some problems. I don't know if you can tell from there, but this side rail is just starting to lean a bit, tilt just a little bit in like that, due to these joints being loose on this side of the base. So we can repair that. If we don't catch this early and the rails continue to tilt inward, it's going to cause some problems with your chair, your normal operation, and you're going to notice like maybe some rubbing sounds, for example. So when you hear noises, simply roll the chair over, inspect the four joints, make sure they're tight. If they're loose, your base is a candidate for this repair we're going to do today. If they're not, but you heard some noises, check your mechanism, because obviously mechanism parts, when they're failing or damaged, can also create those issues. So when do you re-glue this and repair it, and when do you replace a base? Well, here we've got a joint that's come loose and completely separated. Now if there's no damage to the base, it's not broken, shattered, or split, it can be re-glued and repaired. However, if yours is broken, you'll have to order a replacement unit from La-Z-Boy, the manufacturer, or one of their dealers. All right, let's get started on fixing this one. Okay, in order to repair this base, I'm going to have to remove it from the rest of the chair. I'm going to use little spacers that are made out of 1/4-inch plywood that are cut about 1.5 inches tall. And I'm going to place one on each side of the spring before I take the fasteners loose. The idea is to pre-stretch this spring a little bit, which will make base removal and installation a lot easier. Okay, now that I have my spacers in, I can use a Torx bit to remove these screws on top of the spring. Okay, now this side of the base is loose. We'll want to do the same thing, loosen up the spring on the other side, and we also have some linkage here in the middle that we have to disconnect. If you want to see this procedure in more detail, see the link that I have for rocker recliner spring replacement, which also includes removing the base. Okay, now we're ready to prep the joints for repair. What you want to do is carefully loosen these joints and pull them apart. I use a little tool like a tack puller to get in there and just wiggle them apart. Now you don't want to force them apart with a rubber mallet or anything like that, because there are framing staples that they install at the manufacturer in all the joints. And if you use a force to try to separate the joint completely, those staples will probably pull some wood out and do some further damage, and we don't want that. So separate them enough so that you can get glue in there. Once you separate them, you want to clean out those joints, get the dirt and dust out. Now if you happen to have an air compressor, an air nozzle works great. Okay, so the procedure is going to be get some glue in there, pre-drill some pilot holes for our fasteners. I use deck screws, and we're going to put the fasteners in and clamp it overnight and let the glue set up. Now for wood glue, I use Titebond, and this is not a sponsorship or a promo. It just happens to be what I use. All right, let's go ahead and glue it up. Okay, now that I have the base joints all glued, clamped, and fastened, I'm going to let the glue set up overnight. The glue's had a chance to set up overnight, so let's go ahead and remove the clamps. And here are our repaired joints. I won't be reinstalling this base today because there's more repair work I need to do to the chair that this came off of. So if you want to see that procedure, be sure to check out that video link I referred to earlier. 2 final tips on this repair. You want to make sure you use a good quality wood glue or carpenter glue, and the reason is it has good holding power and also it's water cleanup. So after this repair, if you find some dried glue or smears on your base, you can take a cloth, dampen it with water, and rub those areas, and they will clean up nicely. And also, where we installed the screws, if you don't like the look of the screw heads, you can countersink those screw heads. You'll need a second drill bit, a larger bit, slightly larger than the size of the screw head, and pre-drill those holes to countersink the screw heads as well to avoid splitting the wood. You'll want to use a colored wood putty that matches your finish closely. Fill the holes, smooth those areas out, and that will give you a nicer finished look if that's what you prefer. All right, that's it for this repair and this video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.